What's up, guys? Cables here to bring you my review for Star Wars: The Clone Wars Season 5, Episodes 11, 12, and 13. Now, I do realize, yeah, I'm extremely late with the Star Wars Clone Wars reviews, but the reason why I haven't really been making any videos and any Clone Wars reviews is because, sometimes you just need to take a break. And I know I view this, me making videos, as a hobby. And sometimes I might do this where I might take a break and not make videos and focus on real life stuff. And there's some things I had to take care of, nothing too bad or anything like that, with college and all that stuff. And that's really why I've been really making videos. I've been conserving my time. And I didn't really think it would make any sense for me to make a video explaining why I'm gonna be on hiatus and all that. Because to me, if you're gonna be on hiatus, just be on hiatus. You don't have to tell people that. Just take a break, and when you come back, you just come back when you're ready. So I'm gonna do all my reviews that I've missed. I'm gonna do them, in like 3 parts. Well, I'll do the first finish up with this droid arc, and then the next video will be about the Darth Maul and Death Watch arc, and then about the last 2 episodes starting the new arc with the last arc before the season 5. So that's how it's gonna go with the videos in the future. So with the episodes with 11, 12, and 13, pretty much was wrapping up with the droid arc because pretty much Colonel Meeber, Gascon, and the other astromechs, and Whack, of course, the pit droid. They were successful at getting the command module from the Separatists. However, they had trouble getting back because Whack made a mistake where what happened was he told the colonel at the last minute that they were in like an asteroid field and they had a crash land on a planet in the outer rim. And this planet was pretty much a deserted planet. It looked like an actual desert. And what happened was we saw that some of the team had split. Some of the rest of the astromechs were joined by R2D2, and they thought R2D2 would be the better leader, and they followed him while the colonel was left with Whack. And honestly, with this episode, I said that episode 10 was a filler episode. I'll take that back. I would actually say that this episode 11, felt like filler to me because nothing really happened. I mean, it was a different episode, but nothing. There wasn't really action or anything. It was just more of an adventure episode, and that goes with the other episodes that happened in the series. But that is to be expected because this show is also a kids show and it's supposed to target kids who are like 8-year-olds, 8 to 10-year-olds, and I know that this show it also views to a lot of Star Wars fans and a lot of teenagers, but mostly these kind of episodes are like for like the kids, so I understand that. So pretty much what happened was they separated, and the colonel was having hallucinations, and what happened was Whack was trying to encourage him that they need to get off this planet and need to find some way to get leave. And so pretty much what happened was there was these whole bunch of flamingo-like birds. Yeah, I would say they're kind of like flamingos. And what happened was they were all running in like a herd, and pretty much they got on the flamingos, and then pretty much they went to this town where they found water and you know, and also R2D2 and his group. And what happened was the colonel was impressed with Whack and how he was handling the situation, and he made him corporal. And Whack was so hyped that he was corporal and everything, and he was like, "All right, I'm second in command. Let's do this. We need to follow the colonel's orders." And that's pretty much how episode 11 ended. And nothing, like I said, I didn't really like this episode that much. Nothing really happened, but it's one of those episodes where it just need to happen. And then we get to episode 12, which was an episode that a lot of people were anticipating because, first of all, this was the 100th episode. And to me, this episode wasn't really worthy of the build-up that it was getting because, for a while, they were hyping up the 100th episode of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and yet nothing really big happened except for the fact of the introduction of Gregor, the Clone Commando. And when we saw the Clone Commando in the trailers, people were hyped because people wanted to see this guy ever since we saw the Clone Commandos in season 3, and people, they loved it. It got a huge response. So I thought it was pretty cool for them to actually put in a Clone Commando, and pretty much Gregor, he had lost his memory, and he was a dishwasher in a restaurant. And why he lost his memory was because he was involved in the Battle of Ceres, where this battle was like the worst battle in Republic history. They lost so bad. They lost so many clone troopers, and a lot of people died. And pretty much what happened was the Colonel and Astromechs, they were looking around to find a way to leave the planet and just to try to find a ship. And then what happened is the Colonel actually had found Gregor when they went to, he was in the trash can because he was looking for food because he you know, they didn't have enough money to buy any food in the restaurant. And so when the Colonel sees the Gregor, he's like, "Oh, you're a clone," but Gregor, he does not know what a clone is. And so later on, when R2D2 and the other droids and the Colonel, they help him remember who he was, and he's like, "Oh wow, I actually remember. I am a clone commando." And so what happens is they had to get his armor and stuff, which was from the restaurant owner. And what was actually interesting to find out was that the restaurant owner actually knew that he was a clone and that he was kind of keeping him as his personal slave. And of course, it was confrontation between the two, but of course, he got his armor back, and they restrained the restaurant owner. And so pretty much they found a way to leave because they found a ship where there's a whole bunch of other droids, um, separatist droids, of course, because they were using like these fuel, which was apparently had a lot of explosive and everything, and they were going to use it for unknown purposes, and they knew they couldn't allow that. So they went out, they took the ship, and Gregor was providing the group with cover. He was out there running, shooting droids, and it was cool to see, what a clone commander is all about because, they're all about with demolition and like assassination and all those, sabotage and all those other deep operations. So it was cool to see a clone commando actually, the way he was moving looked like, he was suited for those type of missions. And he was just shooting all the droids left and right, providing cover. And what was happening at the end was that they were able to escape. However, Gregor stayed behind to save the others, and he was pretty much surrounded by droids. But it was pretty cool how it happened because he was like shooting all the canisters that was filled with the fuel, and there was a whole bunch of explosions. And he at the end it was just a huge explosion within that area. And now I do believe that Gregor did survive because Gregor is an interesting clone trooper because we've seen in the past how clone troopers, one clone trooper had actually betrayed the Republic, and there was another clone trooper who actually left on his own will because he was tired of the war and didn't think that the war was right. And then this, we have Gregor who lost his memory and he's a clone commando. And so I do believe that he is alive, and Dave Filoni himself had said that there's a good chance that Gregor is going to be alive because when you see deaths like that, or when the character, gets all, when you see a character go through something like that, they're probably going to survive later on. And it'd be good to see more of Gregor, maybe see flashbacks of what happened in Battle of Ceres, or just other missions in general. But I did like this episode only because of the ending. Other than that, nothing really special happened. But I was expecting more action from Gregor, especially because it was the 100th episode. But it is what it is, I guess. It was good to see him. See a clone commando fighting. And then we get episode 13, which was the final episode of this four-part arc. And pretty much in this episode, they went to the Republic cruiser and they were going to give the command module to the Republic, of course. But however, they noticed when they went to the ship that it was full of holograms. That it wasn't an actual ship. It was an actual Republic ship that was taken over by the Separatists. And we find out later on that the goal of the Separatists was to pretty much use the canisters, the fuel from the last episode, and pretty much make a huge explosion that will catch off the other Republic cruisers and wipe out the fleet. And of course, when they found out about this, the Colonel and the droids, they couldn't allow that to happen. So they had to devise a plan to pretty much to get rid of the ship before the Republic, come near it. And of course, we saw one of the droids that had like the magnet ability. He had to sacrifice himself because, of course, there was a whole bunch of like little droids that were attacking them. And then what happened was that R2D2 at the end, he had kind of almost sacrificed himself because what happened was he went outside and he kind of, I forget what he did, but he did something that caused, the explosions to go off, I believe, and he was caught up in the explosion. Sorry if I'm wrong about that. And what happened was he was severely damaged. However, he did survive, of course. R2D2, he's not going to, be blown up that easily. From what we know, he survived, I mean, so R2D2 is a survivor. He knows how to stay alive. And you saw Anakin at the end, he was making sure R2D2 was okay, and Colonel was praising, how R2-D2 was one of the bravest droids, and that's pretty much how sums it up with this arc. Like, I can't really say much about it because nothing really stood out to me in this arc except for the Clone Commando Gregor, and that's really it. You know what I mean? This was wasn't one of my favorite arcs, but you know, it did its purpose, I guess. Then I don't know. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this arc because, like I said, I don't really didn't really like this arc that much. So leave your thoughts down below. What you thought about Gregor? What you thought about the Clone Commando and his future? Will he return, in your opinion? Um, yeah, leave your thoughts on R2-D2 or anything else. Really, that's all I can really say about this arc. It was decent, I guess. Really favorited the younger audience of this series. So let me know your thoughts down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. And I'll see you guys later. Peace. Thanks for watching.